Today we are talking about Chinua Achebe, the famous African writer. Before entering into the video, please like, share and subscribe my channel. Chinua Achebe was born as Albert Chinalugo Achebe in the Igbo village Odigi on November 16th, 1930. He was born in a Protestant Christian family. There was a strong mix-up of traditional and Christian values in his upbringing. As a child, storytelling in Igbo culture influenced him a lot. In 1936, he joined St. Philip's Central School under the patronage of colonial administration. During his graduation, Achebe felt contempt for the savage Africans and adorned British with respect and love. It was in the later life in the University of Ibadan he realized that European picturization of Africa is not real. Chinua Achebe was greatly influenced by the works of Booker T. Washington's Up from Slavery, which was published in the year 1901. It is about the life of a former slave, which for Achebe was a great dimension of African literature. So, most important works of Chinua Achebe are Things Fall Apart, published in the year 1958, No Longer at His, published in 1960, Arrow of God, published in 1964, A Man of the People in 1966, Anthills of Savannah, published in 1987. Its short stories are Marriage is a Private Affair, published in 1952, Dead Man's Path in 1953, The Sacrificial Egg and Other Stories, published in 1953, Civil Peace in 1971, and a most important short story of Chinua Achebe is Girls at War and Other Stories. Then African short stories and The Water. Water is an important short story by Chinua Achebe. And important non-fiction and political commentaries of Chinua Achebe are The Novelist as a Teacher, published in 1965, An Image of Africa, Racism in Conrad's Heart of Darkness, published in 1975, Hopes and Impediments, Morning Yet on Creation Day, 1975, The Trouble with Nigeria, 1984, Hopes and Impediments, 1988, Home and Exile, 2000. And important children's book written by Chinua Achebe are Cheif and the River, 1966 published, How the Leopard Got His Claws, 1972, The Flute in 1975, and The Drum in 1978. So, most important work of Chinua Achebe in the year 1958 is Things Fall Apart. Things Fall Apart is a story about a young yam farmer, Okonko. Okonko is the protagonist, who is a strong wrestler, and he lived during Nigerian colonization. This novel is about the pathetic condition of each Nigerian who is shocked by the downfall of his motherland. Okongo is shocked to see the womanly patience of his clan's members when time arrived to fight the British common enemy. Okongo is a strong wrestler and well-to-do clan's leader who is strictly adhered to the rules of Igbo society. Due to this strict following of his Igbo rules, he even killed his adopted son Ikufema. Because this death of Ikufema was demanded by the clan's members. But when Okongo is arrested and tortured without considering that he is a clan's leader, he has started feeling the end of his ethnicity. When he is returned from jail, he is not welcomed properly. Okongo can now feel the authority of British in the day-to-day affairs of Igbo life, and he feels like things are falling apart. So due to all this downfall of Igbo society and the arrival of British power in the day-to-day affair of his village, he feels that things are going out of control from Igbo tradition, and he gets suicide. He is committing suicide. The second novel is No Longer at Ease, published in the year 1960. This novel is about the result of unscrupulous development through sponsored education. The protagonist in this novel is the grandson of Okongo of Things Fall Apart, that is Obi Okongo. Obi Okongo. Obi is devoid of his self and his thinking capacity, which is a unique character of foreign educated African natives. In this novel, that is No Longer at Ease, Chinua Achebe is showing the problems in sponsored education, which is developed, this is a practice developed by British government in Africa, in which they are sponsoring talented African students, sending them to Africa and making them European in thinking, but the color will be only in an African. A color will be African, but European in thinking. Through this novel, Chinua Achebe exposes the tactics of foreigners to remain in power even after independence. Here they are sending talented for teenagers of Africa to Europe and given education in accordance with foreign needs. These trained teenagers become special agents of colonial powers to suck the juice of their motherland. In Africa, these talented youngsters becoming experts in corruption, and through the example of Obi Okonko, Achebe tells that how Africa has become more and more poverty stricken even after independence. Through this novel, No Longer at Ease, Chinua Achebe is showing how even after independence, foreigners remained in Africa in the form of in the shadow of these corrupted bureaucrats. Actually, these corrupted bureaucrats are once educated. These corrupted bureaucrats of Africa were once educated in Europe. They were trained there to exploit their motherland. And now again they are in their motherland as agents of Europe. Important novel of Chinua Achebe is Arrow of God, published in the year 1964. This novel is about the chief priest Eslu, who is shocked due to cultural derailment from the new faith. Eslu, who is the chief priest, considered as the final word of Igbo doxa. When the question of supreme authority comes, he considers Ulu as superior than British. Here, in this through this novel, Chinua Achebe is showing that how these British people became successful in making two power equilibrium, two power centers in the same society, and gradually the people of Africa lost faith in their traditional values, and thus through this losing of beliefs in their values, British entered into African society. So this chief priest considered Ulu, or the chief god of Africa, as the superior power than the British authority. But this is not acceptable by many natives of Umaro, this village, and he is alienated in the whole village because of British intervention. So through this, making a rift or a problem among the natives of African villages, British became successful to enter into the authority or administration of villages in Africa. This is shown in the novel Arrow of God. And the next fourth important novel, A Man of the People, published in 1966, is about the corruption in Africa. Actually, this novel and his later works shows how this corruption ruins Africa. A Man of People is about a corrupt minister of culture, Nanga, Nanga, who don't know anything about culture. This novel is a satire on the new governments in Africa, where political leaders become personification of power. Such politicians like Nanga are always in a fear of military coup. The protagonist in this novel, A Man of the People, is Odili, a school teacher who is shocked by the failure of his country's independence. Soon after the release of this work, a military coup happened in Nigeria, and Achebe became a suspect of this military regime. So in this work, Chinua Achebe is showing how independence became a failure in Africa. This is the main theme of A Man of the People. Next important work is Anthills of Savannah, published in the year 1987. This is about this is like an epic novel. This fictional work develops through the storytelling of Beatrice. Actually, there are 4 to 5 important characters in this novel, that is Chris, Beatrice, Ikem, and Sam. And this novel revolves around the main happenings of these 4 friends. Actually, these four are close friends. Here we can also see one unscrupulous foreign educated politician, that is His Excellency. Sam is an important character in this novel, and he is otherwise known as His Excellency. This one is also a foreign educated politician. In the development of this the plot, one of the character Ikem is killed in a harsh political betrayal. The novel ends with the naming ceremony of Achebe's daughter. And this novel is received with great reception from critics, and this is a finalist for Man Booker Prize.